Fashion. Name brand designer suits are on sale. We have the largest selection of sports jackets, blazers. Dad will be stepping out in style when you shop at M&K Men's Fashion. Ask about our tailors. They are specialists and will customize your outfit just to fit you. M&K with 2 locations in Memphis, I-240 at Perkins, and the Oak Court Mall. And how about our Tupelo, Mississippi locations at Barnes Crossing Mall? Come on over to M&K today. We are that one-stop shop. And you know what? We're making deals every day. Tune in to Talking Law with attorney Daryl O'Neill and the special guest host, attorney Jerome Payne. Live TV talk on your digital device, on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the SVP TV app right now. Check us out every Tuesday on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, 8:30 p.m. And we are live every Friday on Facebook Live, 6 o'clock in the evening. You've got a question, our attorneys have the answer. So let's talk law with attorney Daryl O'Neill on the SVP TV network.
Welcome to Talking Law with Daryl O'Neill. I'm your host. I got my main man, Jerome.
What's up, Daryl?
What's up, man?
All right.
Hey, man, this is getting ready to be. Man, would you have imagined in your lifetime that, because I this is kind of I'm freaking out. Man.
Yeah, I see, man.
Would you imagine in your lifetime that you would have a black president, have had a black president, have had a black vice president,
Okay.
a female president, vice president,
Okay.
a holiday that recognizes the day that black people have been denied their right to freedom?
Man, I can't believe you're going there, but I'm excited. Yes. I could have never imagined. No. The answer is no.
Yeah. So anyway, look, if you have Facebook Live, you can watch. And look, we got the phone.
Yes.
And if you have YouTube Live, if you have Roku TV, Fire Stick, Apple TV, or the SVTV Network app, you can call, get online and call at any time. We'll answer whatever question you got, regardless of what we're talking about.
That's right.
So we got to give our shout outs. Welcome to California. Son's still doing his thing out in California. Appreciate that.
Good deal.
Welcome to West Memphis. I'm sorry, welcome to Little Rock.
Little Rock first.
Yeah, welcome to West Memphis, Arkansas. Welcome to Memphis, Shelby County, Tennessee. Welcome to Mississippi. And as always, Mom, welcome to the great state of Missouri.
All right.
Jerome, we were talking and we spent a lot of time.
Right.
We were agreeing or disagree, as always, on the landlord-tenant.
Well, there are some things now. There are some things we agreed on and some things we didn't agree on. And you say it all the time. You put 5 lawyers in the same room at the same time and give them a question, and you'll have 5 different answers to that question. I mean, because it's a very serious topic that we're on there. And it affects probably maybe 80% of the population in Memphis, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Landlord-tenant.
Well,
actually everyone, because it's really a contract.
Yeah, look, it's landlord-tenant is so big in places like Shelby County.
Right.
That they developed the Uniform Residential Landlord-Tenant Act for jurisdictions that have over a certain amount of people.
Right.
And if you don't meet that threshold, because they realize that any city or municipality or county that has that level of people would have people that would be trying to abuse the process.
Right.
And that's on both sides.
That's exactly right.
On both sides.
Exactly. And so that's what spurs regulation when you do have a situation such as that, because it would be headed for disaster if there were no guidelines. So what we have the guardrails to tell us what can and cannot happen when a person decides to one, become a landlord, and secondly, someone decides to become a tenant. So the guardrails are there. Now, do you always stay within the guardrails?
Well, that's what we do in the legal profession. I mean, you know, what we do is, so it depends on who you're talking to, right?
Right.
Some people are going to say that, you know, you're required to stay within the guardrails.
Right.
Some people are going to say that, well, you can stay within it, but you can be on top of the guardrails. Some people are going to say that you can stay within it as long as, and you can be under the guardrails, you know. And then you're going to say, some people say you can be outside of the guardrails as long as you're touching the guardrails. You know? And so those are all the elements
I hear
of,
you.
of how we
I hear you. And
practice.
then some people will say it doesn't apply to me at all.
At all. And that's really, look, if you're challenging Uniform Residential Landlord Tenant Act or some other statute regulation, your best argument is to try to establish it doesn't apply to you.
That's right.
That is your absolute best argument. Because if it applies to you, there are so many landmines on both sides. But it's really, in my opinion, there are really more landmines for the landlord.
You think?
Oh my God, yes.
Well, that's interesting that you said that. But we always
Insurance industry that, again, the society has protected it. That's in the state of Tennessee.
No, let's just stay with landlord tenant right now.
So when you say, okay,
let's just stay with landlord tenant
okay.
because that's what we're talking about, right?
Well, yeah, in the landlord tenant, there was a human touch to the landlord tenant.
Right.
And the legislators decided in the landlord tenant rules and regulations and laws and stuff that you're right, that the landlord can protect themselves.
That's right.
That the landlord will
Has the wherewithal.
If you and it's not in every jurisdiction, Jerome.
Right, I got you.
It's only in the big jurisdictions, because in the smaller jurisdictions they don't feel that the landlord would have that type of
That's
power.
exactly right.
But in the bigger jurisdiction, like, shucks, man, if you come to Shelby County and you go down to court on any given day,
God.
any given day,
Oh my God.
it's the docket that there's a 10 o'clock docket and there's a
my
1:30 docket. You can go to the courtroom, General Sessions Court, on any given day, and you will see hundreds of people being evicted.
That's exactly right.
Hundreds of people daily.
That's exactly right.
You
I
know.
mean, like you say, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Thursday, because they don't on Friday. You know, they don't do hearings on Friday.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No trials are done on Friday, so you're not there's no, because you know they shut down at 12.
So that's
11,
that's
yeah.
sweet for.
Ain't no afternoon docket, but Monday through Thursday,
Right.
anytime, 10 o'clock or 1:30, you can come in and watch hundreds of people be evicted and hundreds of people being garnished.
Yes.
Those are the two things that you guarantee to see when you're down
For
there.
sure. For sure.
So, bless you. But the landlord tenant, Jerome, where we got where we were, is there was this tragic event.
Yes.
And that's what led to our conversation. There was this tragic event where the tenant had 4 children.
4 children passed. I think it may have been more children, but 4 of them didn't
Okay.
make it.
And again, we've talked a lot about this. And
Yeah.
look, all of this is hypothetical.
That's right.
Because I don't know the people. I don't know the landlord. I don't know the situation. I've gotten some evidence, or it's not evidence, but some information or some gossip
Right,
that
right.
the people were being evicted.
Right.
There was some gossip that said that the people, they were potentially stealing utilities.
Right.
So we got here where I asked you, is it foreseeable that if a person is being evicted, that they would steal utilities?
And I said it depends.
Okay.
And because when we start adding additional facts, the fact that it's 90 plus degrees many times in Memphis, it hadn't quite gotten that for when this happened. It was maybe 80 something consistently. So it's hot, and you got small children. They have formula, they have food in the refrigerators, no air conditioning can work. So it's foreseeable in my mind that whomever the guardians are of those people who live in that situation will try to get some utilities some way, somehow.
At what point, Jerome, though, I mean, and I get what you're saying, at what point does your problem become your responsibility? That question makes sense?
It does.
Because I mean,
it does and it doesn't.
Because what you're saying is your problem becomes my responsibility.
Well, are you not your brother's? Are you not your brother's keeper? Are you not your brother's keeper?
Well, I am my brother's keeper, but this ain't. Yeah.
But remember, the scripture says, "Who is your brother?"
Okay.
Your brother is whomever you meet and greet. And remember, the scripture also says, "Whomever does something to the least of them, to the little ones, you've done it also unto me."
Well,
so the scripture is clear about our need, our demand. It's not whether you want to or not. It's a requirement that we treat people a certain way who have fallen down on their luck.
Well, and it's funny that Jerome said what he just said. Scripture says.
Okay.
You say religions, who religion?
Okay. Okay.
So that's the reason why you have to have a separation between state and church and state.
Interesting.
Because if I'm my brother's keeper, all my brother had to do was pay the rent. I was my brother's keeper because that's the reason why I allowed my brother to rent from me. I was my brother's keeper because when my brother is late, instead of me putting him on the street, I go to the court and go through the legal process.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I am my brother's keeper.
Okay.
But again, that's why we can't marry those two things, because everybody's going to say, what is my responsibility as my brother's keeper? That's why we can't marry the state and church.
Okay. Now, okay, let's go back just a little bit. Do you know how many millions of dollars were poured into Shelby County by the federal government to help people pay their rent? Recently? It was several, maybe 80, 90 million dollars or so.
Let me just say this to you,
came into our community, and our community is just one of the many across the nation who receive federal funding to keep people in their homes.
Let me just say this, Jerome, and I'm going to be the most hated person in captivity when I say this. The pandemic paralyzed our society.
Sure, I agree with you.
And the reason why when I say this paralyzed, it paralyzed not only our society as far as what was happening.
Okay. It
paralyzed our mentality. For the first time, then it got to the point where, you don't have money to stay where you are because you're not working because we've shut your whatever down, or we've done it virtually and everybody can't work virtually. So we're gonna infuse money. We're gonna add 500 or 400 or 600 or whatever.
That's right.
Onto the unemployment to even make it better.
Enhanced unemployment.
Enhanced unemployment. We're gonna do that.
Right.
And so, but it takes the incentive from unemployment because unemployment says that.
I'm laughing. Go ahead. I'm gonna tell you why I'm laughing. Go ahead. Now you go ahead.
Well, I'm just okay. And so, then when those things disappear,
right,
we can't get out of that We can't get out of that paralyzing event. Now that things have gone back, people still are looking to help me stay in my house. People are still looking. I need an additional bump on my unemployment. So that's why I said it paralyzed us, because we used to say when a person goes to jail, right? And when they come out and they start acting a certain way, we call them institutionalized. So that's what the government did to these people during pandemic.
I totally disagree. Totally disagree.
Now we get somewhere.
Because there, and that's why I was laughing, because as you move up the ladder, the social status ladder, your views begin to change.
Oh, damn. I ain't jaded.
You see what I'm saying?
Damn, John. Dog, you just don't call me jaded.
No, I'm just saying, as you move up the social ladder, your views begin to change about what is the government's duties and what is not the government duties. And so that's how we have some people who should not be but call themselves Republicans, because that's one of their mainstay is pull yourself up by your own bootstrap. But what happens if you don't have any boots? How do you do it? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Or you get somebody like a Tim Scott running around talking about America is not what we know America is. America is not a racist. America is a racist and has been since its inception. Mm-hmm. It's clear. All right, so, and
let's build on that.
He is the only Republican, black Republican in the Senate, and would not be in there had it not been for Nikki Haley when she was the governor of South Carolina. She appointed him. There was an open seat came up, and she appointed him as a black Republican senator. Okay, so now he believes that he's going to be their nominee as the Republican nominee for president. That's a pipe dream that we'll never see. Tim?
Well, he gonna get nominated. He ain't gonna be the Republican nominee now. But I mean,
that's what I'm saying. But
he may be.
He's in the race.
But there's a lot of people in the race.
He's gonna wind up just like every other black Republican who's called themselves gonna be the nominee. We had Herman Cain, the what was this program? The 999 program we had.
Yeah.
Who else was it that called themselves going to run in the Republican for president? Ben Carson. I really used to like Ben Carson, but did you ever hear him speak?
I have.
It's awful.
Yeah, I know.
How could he possibly be the gifted hands man that we read about?
It's hands, not speaking. They ain't require no speaking with your hands now. Now, if his hands had to talk, he was a superstar.
He's awful.
Yeah.
They
made him the Secretary of Veteran Affairs.
No, housing.
Housing, yeah.
Yeah, housing.
Yeah.
And he crushed the program, tore it all to hell. You know. So, but it's only normal that as you move up, your views begin to change. As you become more exposed to stuff, your views change, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I think I disagree with you.
And that's what they say. They said there, that just like we're saying about Ja Morant, he can no longer hang with his boys.
No, you can't. Well, no,
he got to cut his boys loose.
I've been there and done that.
You got to do it,
but
because you're no longer able to rip and run like that and clown and cut up. You're in a different realm now, and that's where you are. Mr. O'Neill.
See,
and nothing wrong with it. I'm glad, I'm happy for you that you're there now. And you represent landlords.
And tenants too.
And so we
always represent both of them.
So we always say the group of lawyers who represent debtors, we wear the white hats. And no telling what color hats you guys wear. Because we're the good guys.
Oh my God, man. Hold up now. Wait a minute. I represent both. I mean, so I'm not going to let you dog me like that. I represent both. Now, you are adamant that you will not represent landlords.
I will,
but I represent both.
Well, I tell you what, I tell people all the time. Now, I will file a motion to lift the stay in order to allow you to move forward in a bankruptcy case, but I will not put somebody out.
Yeah,
I won't do that.
So here's how bad the pandemic screwed people's mind up.
Okay.
And to include my colleague over here.
Okay.
The landlords, they put a moratorium that said that the landlords could not put people out.
Right.
But they had a moratorium. Landlords cannot put people out.
Right.
But there was no moratorium that said the landlords couldn't lose their property. Did you know that?
Well, I don't know if necessarily.
They had to still make their mortgage. The only landlords that did not have, where the moratorium did apply,
was the VA. Was
if they had a federal loan.
Right.
Anybody else.
Right.
there was a moratorium.
Right.
But they still had to make their monthly payments on their mortgages.
Right.
So now we're gonna excuse the tenant from making their payment, and it's their payment that allows me to make my payment.
Right. Right.
So now I'm gonna get penalized.
We're not saying that these are not serious issues.
No, we're saying
these
that
are serious issues that we have to work through.
How we work through them?
Again, the least able person requires a system. A system.
Dog, I got there. That's what I'm saying.
That's the government's role. The government has one
Man,
role:
I
is
have
to
a
support
house.
the people who need supporting. That's the government's role.
Yeah, but see, here that's not a supporting role.
Okay.
Because that's not what they did.
Okay.
They crushed one person to help another. They crushed the landlord to help the tenant. I can't put you out, but I can't pay my damn rent. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose my building.
I don't know that was the outcome.
That was the outcome for
because
some.
I believe I don't know because I didn't have to go to court to
I
defend.
did. Yeah,
and so there was no defense for them not being able to pay their mortgages. There were not loan modifications. There were not what we call them. How you change the debt and put it on the back end. There was a lot of motivation. That's what you call it. What's what I'm looking for?
Yeah.
There were ways that would prevent you from losing the property.
I mean, there was ways for the tenant too.
The tenant had the government.
Okay, hold on a second. Here's where I'm lost.
Okay.
Okay, they had COVID relief money.
Right.
For people. They had enhanced unemployment.
You're absolutely
for people.
right.
So why didn't they take the enhanced unemployment money and pay their flipping rent?
They did.
No, they didn't.
Millions.
Listen
to me. Listen for a minute.
Okay.
Remember, you just said it tonight. You said that you were talking to a person who does bankruptcy work. They said that over 60,000 people were filing bankruptcy back pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic, yeah.
After pandemic, that number went away.
It went substantially down.
It went away.
Yeah.
So the people who had enhanced unemployment, COVID relief, they were able to pay their bills with not having to resort to bankruptcy to stay in their places.
Which is a good thing.
And they didn't lose their cars, and their utilities were on. And savings went through the roof. People finally had savings, and that's what they're talking about now. All of that is evaporated once it stopped. If inflation started to eat it up, right? So the feds have raised the interest rates at least 9 different times to try to get inflation under control. So where does inflation come from? Because there's money, rampant money running through the community there. So people did take advantage of it. Now, did it trickle all the way down to your clients? Maybe not. And that's what you are complaining about. Mm-hmm. Your clients didn't get the relief that you felt like they should. But we have to look at the greater good. The greater good is that the majority of the people in the United States benefited from it. Now talk about the PPP loan that your people got.
Yeah.
Now,
a whole lot of people magically came up with businesses. Okay,
so whatever they got trumped. But whatever the rent.
Yeah, but those. So now.
And it was forgiven.
Yeah, well, some. Because some of that didn't flow to the landlords. Because in order to get the PPP loan, you had to have employees. Okay. And then that's how it was based off. You had employees. Okay. And then based off of the number of employees and what their salary was, your PPP loan would give you money up to 8 weeks worth of payment for those. Okay. So a lot of those landlords didn't have employees.
All right. Okay.
I mean, a lot of those landlords are me and you.
Okay.
I mean, I own 4 or 5 houses. Okay. And in those 4 or 5 houses that I own, you
wouldn't get no rent because the moratorium lasted what? Almost a year.
Almost a year. Until they got sued and went to the Sixth Circuit, and the Sixth Circuit said that moratorium was unconstitutional. Right. Actually, it came. It
was already over by that time.
Yeah.
And think about it again.
But it hadn't been lifted. The moratorium hadn't been lifted.
But think about it again. It was a Republican
Yeah,
judge appointed by a Republican president who was against helping people anyway. You see what I'm saying?
Well, okay.
We knew when it went in front of the judge, the federal judge, it was going to be declared, but it only affected Shelby County.
The president, now.
Did it affect any other county? No, only Shelby County.
I don't remember. Well,
only the Western District.
well, the Western District.
Only the Western District.
Because that was the only ones that filed.
The rest of the state, it was not effective
yeah,
to them.
Yeah, I don't remember I remember when the lawsuit went above,
right.
But anyway, all right, well, that's a conversation for another day. Hey, look, y'all, we talked about this landlord-tenant. And if you ever got questions or you got any topic or subject that you want us to talk about, you can call in, or you can text us or email us, or
you can call the office.
Call the office,
Yeah.
and then say, hey, look, next time y'all on your show, can y'all talk about this subject?
Yes.
And we will bring it up.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Well, another day gone by. Happy Juneteenth. Glad to have a holiday and to have it as a federal holiday. See you next week.
Father's Day is coming. Celebrate Dad in a big way. Come shop at M&K Men's Fashion. Name brand designer suits are on sale. We have the largest selection of sports jackets, blazers. Dad will be stepping out in style when you shop at M&K Men's Fashion. Ask about our tailors. They are specialists and will customize your outfit just to fit you. M&K with 2 locations in Memphis, I-240 at Perkins, and the Oak Court Mall. And how about our Tupelo, Mississippi locations at Barnes Crossing Mall? Come on over to M&K today. We are that one-stop shop. And you know what? We're making deals every day.